Greeting One players, I hope we find you well. Of course, Tuesday is Olympic Day, so what better way to celebrate that than crossing live to Hyderabad in India to speak to one of the stars and stories of the Rio Games in 2016, and I'm sure she will also be one of the stars and stories of the delayed Tokyo 2020 Games. She is India's first ever badminton world champion. Speaking to us live on One Play Sports, we go to India and say hello to PV Sindhu. Sindhu, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
We are very good here. And of course, I know it's Olympic Day and we will get to the Olympics first, but everyone we speak to at the moment, we have to start with how COVID-19 has affected you, because obviously it's not something anyone saw coming, and it happened just as the badminton season was getting into full swing.
Well, I must say it's a bit tough, but I think for me, it's something new because I've never had so much time spending at home with my parents. So for me, it's kind of, something new, and I'm learning new stuff. So I understand this COVID-19 has come to a standstill where we all are at our houses in not coming out and not participating in any tournament. But it's very important where life comes first, apart from all these. And it's almost been a couple of months now, that we've been traveling. And for me, yes, again, this is the first time I'm spending time with my parents for a very long time. Before it was, I keep coming back and then practice and then back and then tournaments. It was just 1 week. And then I used to go off for tournaments. But now I think I'm kind of enjoying it, apart from, the COVID, which has been really spreading so much, all around the world.
Coming so soon after you won that world title in incredible circumstances in Switzerland in 2019, is it a blow to you, or, the season moved so quickly? In terms of the form you were in, were you glad to get the rest and be able to reset, or were you frustrated that you couldn't kind of build on that momentum? Have you viewed it as a positive or a negative?
I was positive because, yes, I was very happy that I got the, World Championships, because it was much weighted win for me, where I have, 2 bronze, 2 silver, and finally gold. So I must say I was really very positive. And after that, I had a couple of losses where, I could have won, but it was a bit sad. But I think it was very important to stay positive and come back much more stronger, because, every time you can't just give your 100%. Sometimes, ups and downs are always there in your life. So, you have to just go with the flow and just be confident all the time. And definitely, if you keep working hard and, keep practicing your mistakes, I'm sure that I will get there. And I've been always positive, even though I lost that match immediately. Maybe for some time I was sad, but I think it was very important for me to come back to my rhythm and, go back to training again the next day.
Inside India, your story, the Bollywood biopic's not been made yet, but I'm sure it's in production. But your backstory is well known. You're kind of become a legend, if you like, already. But those outside of India that aren't completely brief with your background, both your parents were national level volleyball players. I had the honour of meeting your father at the launch of the Pro Volleyball League a couple of years back. So were you instilled at a very young age that sport was going to be a very important part of your life? Were you pushed into it? Was it something you went into voluntarily? Because people don't realise, when you want to become a pro badminton player, it starts at an incredibly young age, doesn't it?
Yes. I think I agree to what you said. And it was not like a push for me, but I'm really very lucky to have parents, because both of them are volleyball players. So, that sport is there in the blood. So when I started playing at the age of 8.5, it was just for fun. And a lot of people asked me, why not volleyball, why badminton? But it was my own interest that I've come up into sports. And I think my parents always encouraged me and supported me in whichever way I wanted to. It was never that, they pushed me and they were like, no, you have to be in the sports. I think that was never there. And I always was interested in sports. And, when I started playing badminton, I never thought, I would become a Olympic silver medalist or a world champion. But, I thought, okay, let me see, how far I will go. And, step by step, year by year, I've been improving and I've come to here. So I must thank my parents, because especially my dad, he keeps telling me tips even now because he know what it is and he's experienced that. So kind of, it helps me in one way where I play matches. He keeps telling me what mistakes I'm doing when I'm at home. He keeps telling me, okay, this is what you've done. This should be done. So it kind of like, I'm really lucky, yeah. So yeah, I'm very happy that, because of them I'm here today.
Yeah, of course, your father, Amana, actually won a bronze medal, didn't he, at the 1986 Asian Games in Seoul. So he knows what it's like to medal at a Games, but you've won up to him now with the silver in Rio, and hopefully it'll be gold in Tokyo. Now, tell me this about your incredible family, because you have a sister too, Divya. Is it true, when you first started showing an interest in badminton, you tried to play a game with her and she dismissed you because she didn't think you'd be good enough to have a game of badminton with her? Is that true?
Yes, but I was really young and my sister was playing with my cousin. So I wanted to join them and they were like, no, you're too young to play, so you don't know how to play. And like now when we talk about it, we really laugh at it because, then she didn't allow me to play and look where am I today. So it's kind of funny, but I must say my sister also was a netball player. Well, she stopped because now she's a doctor, she's a gynecologist. I think talking about the family, I must say the support that I've been getting from them has been like brilliant. Like, since young, even I used to go to my school and come back, and my sister used to take care of me and she used to teach me. So it was like we have 7 years of gap. Like she's 7 years elder to me, and she's like a second mother to me, where she takes care of me when my mom used to go for work. So it's kind of, we never fought. It was just that bond that we really close, even though we had like so much age difference.
I mean, I was researching your career. Obviously, like everyone else, I've followed you at the World Championships and saw what happened in Rio. But one thing that's incredible about your record over recent years in badminton, well, really since you turned past your teen years, is your record at the biggest events, the World Championships and the Olympics. I mean, it's peerless. As you mentioned before, the consecutive finals at the World Championships, making that final in Rio. Do you think that's because there's a mental strength inside you? Because when I look at these individual sports, it's obviously different to team sports. You can learn the shots, you can have the stamina, but how important on the biggest stages is the mental aspect of the game?
Yes, it is very much, because I must say mental and physical aspect is very, very important. Like it should be equal, not that, one should be, 60 or another should be 40. I think I don't agree with that. But yes, as you asked me about the mentally, I must say it has really helped me because, in the starting stages, when you play a match, you mentally get tired at times, or, you mentally just get fatigued where you don't know what to do and you might get blank at times. So that is when, like, for me especially, I started doing a meditation, and I still do meditation, and that has helped me a lot. And I think my mental fitness has really helped me, where it kept me going and it kept me calm always. And I must say, at the World Championships, yes, you must have seen, especially in the finals, I think that kept me going. And I'm very thankful that, I've started doing this meditation, and I started knowing a lot more about myself, where, in the mental aspect, I must say that, what's going within you. I mean, sometimes when you're losing, you always have that thinking that, what's next and I'm going to lose. And you have that negativity in yourself. But I think to cut off that and to, even though you're training down there, I think that positivity is very important, and anything can happen any moment. I think that is very, very important, where you have that self-belief and confidence in yourself. And I'm sure, I think the mental aspect will be like really good, yeah. For me especially, it has really helped a lot.
This is going to sound like a silly question, but when I think back to watching that game in 2019 in Basel, obviously it was a revenge of sorts because Akahara had beaten you in the previous final. Was it an anticlimax that you won it so easily? You won 7-7. Was that an anticlimax, or were you just delighted the way it was going and thinking, let's get this over as quickly as possible and get the Indian anthem and the Indian flag up on the top of that podium?
Well, I didn't think it was going to be like so easy, but I was prepared for a long match. And after the semi-finals was done, the media out there was asking like, okay, we're gonna see 2017, the repeat of 2017 again. Yeah. I said, yeah, but maybe not the the result. So I said, okay, let's wait and see. But I'm sure it's going to be a long match because every time I was playing with Okuhara, there were always long matches. So I was prepared for a long match, and that pressure, that responsibilities was always there with me because third time playing in the finals, and I've already lost 2 times, and I wanted this win so much. So I went into the court thinking that okay, no matter what, I'm just gonna give my 100%. So when I started playing, and I think it was 1-all, 2-all, and then I just took a lead there, and I was leading like 17-7. And still I didn't think that okay, I will give her 2-3 points. I always thought that I have to just finish it off no matter what. So after the win, after 2 sets, I thought okay, I finally won it. When I was in 20 match point, I thought okay, I'll have to shout because I wanted this win so much. Yeah. And after the match was over, I was just like blank, and I'm like, yeah, I finally did it, and I was just like standing there and doing nothing. But then I realized, well, I had tears in my eyes. And yes, the national anthem playing there in different country, I think it's definitely a pride, and I'm really very happy about it. Yes.
And let me take you back a couple of years prior to that, because of course you've proved that you can bounce back from losing a world final to winning a world final, and I'm sure that's something you'll be drawing on in Tokyo when hopefully you eventually get there in that rescheduled games in 2021. That Olympic final, you've been involved in some epic encounters, some of the longest games in badminton history, but that final against Carolina Marlin, how hard was it to bounce back from that? Because, it was the most absorbing. I watched it again in preparation for speaking to you again today, and you just forget how absorbing it was to watch. Goodness knows what it was like to play in. Do you draw on that experience now looking forward to Tokyo saying, I know what it's like to get that close, and there's just a tiny bit more that I've got to draw myself to go from silver to gold?
Well, right now, I think, yes, I can do it well, where I am really looking forward for Tokyo, and I want to just, give that like push where, I get to the finals, and in the finals, I know how it is and what it will be like. But back then in 2016, I must say, for me, it was, something I was not expecting. And it was my first Olympics, and in finals, when we were playing the finals, after winning the first set and losing the second game and third game, it was like anybody's game. And I think after losing that, I felt a bit bad. Yes, I could have got that gold back then, but later I just thought that I have not expected and I've got it. And I have to be happy for that. And and then we went to the medal ceremony, and silver medal was given to me, and I think then I was just at top there in cloud 9, and I didn't know what was happening here in India. When I came back to India, people were like, you don't know how it is and how it was when you were playing there. And the reception that I've got has been fantastic, which I've not expected. And yes, I must say after that my life has changed a lot. So it has changed a lot in these 4 years. The wins, the medals, everything has changed a lot in my life.
One specific detail of that final, and I don't want to dwell on it because ultimately you didn't win it, and we know you're going to win the next one in Tokyo, but I want to know what was going through your mind, because when Marlin was celebrating, one thing that struck me again watching it back that I didn't notice in detail at the time was she was obviously prone on the court, couldn't believe she won gold. But you crossed to the other side of the court after shaking hands with the umpire, gave her a hug, and then you did the most incredible thing. You picked her racket up and took it back. Was that just something you did on instinct? Because that's not the kind of thing you see. You hugged her, you had a brief moment together, then you literally helped her by taking her racket back so she could enjoy her moment, and you sort of exited gracefully. Was that something you just did on autopilot? It wasn't something you thought about?
I didn't think about it. Actually, when I'm talking to you, I still have goosebumps, when I'm thinking back then in 2016. After the match was over, I think even she played well, and also I must congratulate her because she's done a great job. And Olympics is not a small thing where when you win an Olympic medal, it's like you just like Olympic medal that comes in once in 4 years, and it's a great win for anybody. So I think it's very important as players. Yes, on court rivalry, on court aggression, and everything will be there. But I think apart from that, off court, we're just good friends, and she's done a good job. So I just went out there and congratulated her. And I think it didn't just stuck my mind, I just took the racket and just put it there because, I just wanted her to enjoy the movement, and the racket is what everything gives you. Like, you playing is another thing, but the racket is like your weapon, I must say.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I didn't think about anything. I just took a racket and just put it there, and yeah, that was it. And, a lot of people, told that, it was really a sweet gesture from my side. So I must take that as a blessing,
I mean, you speak about Marlon in glowing terms there. Obviously, she's performed wonders to get back from what could have been a career-threatening injury with her ACL. When you think about your main dangers, because it seems to me when you look at the rankings, when you look at the results on tour, there's really a top 8 who seem to kind of split the tournaments between them. It really is uber competitive between those top 8. Who is would you have her down as your biggest danger on the circuit? Is there another player that you really are wary of, or do you just try and treat them all equally?
I think I treat them equally because it's more like, everybody has a different style of play and everybody has a different game altogether because, when you play with each opponent each time, so the strategy is going to be different because we know each other's game. And talking about the top 8 players when it comes to Taizu or Carolina or Okuhara, Yamaguchi or Ratchanok, I think anybody is beatable and anything can happen any moment. Sometimes we might play brilliantly. Sometimes we might just not just give our best. It might not be our day. But I must say that, it just depends on that particular day. Whoever plays well and give their best is a winner is what I feel.
Now, obviously, it is Olympic Day. We're celebrating the Olympic movement. And I'm sure you've got your sights firmly set on Tokyo 2020. In 2021, just to not confuse anyone too much. I've got to ask you, when you go through, and I've been blessed to have spent a lot of time in India and worked extensively on sport in India, when you realise how fanatical Indians are for sport and how seriously and prestigious the Olympic movement is treated, it's astonishing. You were the first woman to win an Olympic silver medal, never mind not getting the gold at the age of 21, the first woman to win Olympic silver. You take away the men's Olympic hockey golds that were largely garnered at the turn of the 20th century. I mean, just that one shooting gold medal, as incredible as an achievement as it was, why is it, do you think, that India at the Olympic stage, when it's taken so seriously, have just not got the results? I mean, it's when you look at the population, the number of people actively involved in sport, it's incredible, isn't it?
Yes. I must say that, I understand, like back then in 2016, there were no much medals for the India. And also people were asking that, there is it's a large population where, there are lots of people out there and why can't we get medals? But I must say that, yes, there were a lot of Indians who qualified for the Olympics and who just missed out in a second or so. I think we have to appreciate that the hard work they've done. And also at the same time, I know, Deepa Karmakar, who's been a gymnast, where she just missed in like 2-3 seconds. Yeah, and she would have got the bronze there. So, sometimes it happens. Sometimes it might just not be your day that, you just can't get that, And at the same time, coming back to India, I would say compared to other country players, there are a lot of people who, after one set of players, like maybe after 5-6 players, there are almost like 10 to 20 players out there who've been ready for the to the other set of tournaments. Like in India, there are only like 2-3 players or 4 players, for years. And then you have a huge gap and then, another set of players come. So I must say that, it should start from the grassroots level where, the players pick up sport and start playing sport. And I think 5 years down the line, 6 years down the line, there will be a lot of youngsters who will pick up sport and definitely do great for the country. Yeah, is what I feel.
Yeah, hopefully we'll see that roll of honour. So we've got Abhinav Bindra in 2008 in Beijing for shooting, and 2020 PV Sindhu. It's got a nice ring to it, hasn't it? And you're talking about the reaction you got when you got back to India after winning silver in 2016. Goodness only knows what will happen when you bring gold back, hopefully next year. But that leads me to something else, because people might not be aware when they watch this. You look at the list of the Forbes highest paid athletes in world sport, female athletes, and it's obviously a sea of tennis players, and there is your name. And I know you're very modest and self-effacing, but there is your name there, courtesy of the incredible endorsement deals that your fame and skill has attracted. How do you keep focused? I know you've got Baseline Ventures, who are very selective, and your father, of course, who casts an expert eye over your career, both on and off the court. But how do you manage that expectation? Are you able to switch off and just make these endorsement commitments almost physically and leave the mental side just for your badminton? How does that work?
Well, it's great to hear that I've been in the Forbes list, So yes, my parents take care of everything, so I just don't have the tension where I have to look after something else. But for me, first is badminton for a couple of years more. And yes, apart from that, Baseline Ventures they are managing me. So it's kind of, different from badminton, I must say. These endorsements and stuff like this. It's not kind of something troubling me or responsibilities, but I kind of enjoy it where, just come out from badminton for a day and then just do something and then come back to badminton. So it's kind of like a rest. At the same time, I kind of enjoy it. So it's nothing like, I just feel tired at times. I never felt that way. But so I enjoy each time. I enjoy each moment. So yeah. So
you're blessed with your father and Baseline that they take care of the noughts on the end of the checks. You've just got to worry about standing in front of the camera and obviously shaking hands or doing whatever it takes. You don't have that stress on top of trying to make sure you win on the court.
Well, yeah, and also the responsibilities, as you said. Yes, the responsibilities, pressure is always there on my shoulders. But at the same time, I just focus on what I do, and when I'm going onto the court, like playing a match out there, people's expectations are a lot more, and people want me to win all the time I go into the court. So it's just that I just focus on myself, thinking that I have to just give my 100% and go out there and just give my best. And if I win, it's good for the people out there. It's good for the country. It's good for myself. So I just think that and just go out there and just give my best.
Now, you might have given us an exclusive here on One Play Sports. Did I just hear you say you want to concentrate on the court for a couple of more years? You're 20. By the way, happy birthday for a couple of weeks' time. You're going to be 25 at the start of July. But it's interesting, isn't it? Female badminton players, you look at the top 10 players, all hovering around, early 20s to mid 20s. Do you feel now you're in your peak years? Are you looking at it like, get Tokyo, get the gold medal, then maybe think about Paris? Or is your mindset that you're going to have 2 or 3 more years at the elite level of the game and then maybe look to your outside interests?
No, I'm sure. I think, after this 2021 Tokyo, yes, I'll be 25 in a couple of years. And I think I'm at my peak, and definitely I'm sure that I will be playing yes, Paris. Well, I'll be only 29 then, so I think I must and I can do it.
You're looking at Paris as well?
Yes, of course.
Yeah. Well, you could be India's first ever back-to-back gold medal winner.
Yes, hopefully, yes, I will.
And how much does it mean to you? I mean, it sounds like a question where there's an obvious answer. But are you aware of the enormity if you could come back with gold? Because obviously, in 2016, you probably didn't have time to realise the enormity is if you'd won that gold medal and brought it back. And the silver in itself was obviously a huge deal. But now, the 4-year gap in between and the expectations understandably growing, I mean, it doesn't get any bigger than that, does it? I mean, in your position, in your sport, the Olympic gold is the holy grail.
Yes, the Olympic gold is my dream. And definitely, Tokyo 2021, I'm sure that, I can do it. And definitely it's not going to be easy, but I will try my best. Well, when I get that gold back, it's a great thing for me and also for the country, I must say. Back then in 2016, silver was a huge thing, and I'm sure getting gold will be another huge thing. So, looking forward for it.
And just going back to your training routine that's obviously been interrupted, I know you very kindly joined us straight from how you managed to look so glamorous walking straight off from the gym, I do not know. But I mean, what do you do in terms of hitting partners? Who are you practicing with, training with? Is it mostly gym work? Are you managing to get on the court as well and keep busy in that regard?
Well, right now, because of this COVID, we are not supposed to go and train. Well, I just train at my house, and we're not supposed to play because, it's really bad here in Hyderabad. So right now, all the academies and everything is shut. But yes, I am training from my house itself. I just finished my gym and came back. Well, talking about glamorous, I must say it's just that I enjoy myself in doing whatever I do. So yeah, and just be happy and just be positive all the time.
So the season is due to restart. I think they're looking at September, aren't they, with Taipei, Korea, and then China on an Asian swing. Is your plan at the moment to compete across that swing to sort of start the build-up in earnest for what's going to happen next year in Tokyo?
Yes, of course, because yes, they are starting with the Chinese Taipei, but we'll have to see. I think it's starting from August to September, but I'm sure that it's going to take some time for everybody to come back to their regime where we have to be mentally fit and physically fit again, because it's been like so many months we haven't touched a racket now. So it's going to take time, but I'm sure we will be back soon, and I hope this COVID goes off and we all will be back on track again.
Yeah, I know.
And looking forward for the tournaments, obviously, which will be again leading to Tokyo 2021.
Okay, listen, you've been wonderful. I'm going to ask you to finish with me, Sindhu, on a couple of questions. You can have an either-or answer to these questions, and I've not given them to you in advance. Okay?
Okay.
Are you ready? Netflix,
Okay.
Netflix or a good book?
Netflix.
Bollywood or Hollywood?
Both actually.
Both? Okay.
Since you are talking to me, I would say Hollywood.
Okay.
But yeah.
if you thought that was a trick one, wait for this one. Your mum's biryani or a Michelin-starred restaurant on your travels around the world?
Mum's biryani.
Mum's biryani.
Anytime, mum's
I thought so.
food.
In terms of your training regime, a 5-kilometre run or an hour of weights?
Out of weights.
Forehand or backhand?
Forehand.
And gold in Tokyo or a hat-trick of world titles? Bearing in mind you've already got one.
Gold in Tokyo.
I thought that would be the easy one. Listen, it's an absolute delight, PV Sindhu. You're the superstar you are for a good reason. It's very kind of you to spare time. We'll all be cheering on. Even us people here who aren't Indians will be giving it the Jai Hind for you when you get to Tokyo eventually. Please pass our best wishes on to your wonderful mother and father as well. Stay safe, stay well, and best wishes to you. And maybe, you've got to give me a promise now, when you get that gold medal, you're going to be inundated, but you will find time to join me again on Zoom with that gold medal around your waist. I mean, I'm just checking when the Olympic final is rescheduled for the 3rd of August, so I'll give you a week to calm down. The 10th of August, 2021, I want to speak to you again on Zoom with gold round your neck. Promise?
Sure, definitely I will
Pinky
promise
swear?
that. And it's been a wonderful, it's been really wonderful talking to you, and I've really enjoyed it. And thank you so much once again.
Thank you,
It's
Sindhu.
been a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you, take care. PV Sindhu joining us live from Hyderabad, India's first ever World Badminton Champion.